A very good evening to all of you. I am Utpala Hevagamage of LetKLN. Welcome you all to the initial session of the first ever Virtual Business School 2021 organized by LetKLN of University of Catania. Firstly, let me introduce our club. LetKLN is a student-run non-profit organization who bears the aim of bridging the gap between undergraduates and the corporate world. LetKLN was started in the year 2016 in University of Catania with the intention of grooming the professionalism of the undergraduates. And speaking of, the Business School 2021, organized for the fourth consecutive time, is however the first ever virtual business school organized by LetKLN. It is planned to be held as 4 stages, namely, Step 1, boost your career. Step 2, quest for ideal job market. Step 3, writing your winning resume. Step 4, facing the final interview. And the first step comprises of 5 professional field discussions through which we wish to assist you to precisely identify your career path. So you all are witnessing the initial session of the first stage of this journey through the business school, themed digital marketing. Welcome once again on board. So what actually is digital marketing? It is an emerging field in the contemporary world. It is apparently a very vast field and probably wouldn't be able to cover all the aspects in digital marketing within 45 minutes. However, our main objective through the first stage of business school is to help our undergraduates identify their career passion precisely. So today, we have our resource person who will be pitching his field of professionalism to all of us within this limited time. And we have invited the best panelist who suits our requirement. He is none other than Mr. Amita Amarasinghe. Hello, sir.
Hello, Utpala. Good evening, and good evening, everyone. And thank you very much for inviting me. It's a great pleasure to be part of this discussion today.
Okay, thank you, sir. Trainer, he is the trainer, co-founder, and CEO at Asia Pacific Institute of Digital Marketing, and he also works as a visiting lecturer at the University of Jayawardenepura. Mr. Amita is a well-known digital marketing professional with more than 15 years of experience in e-marketing, e-commerce, social media marketing, and performance marketing. I warmly welcome you, sir, to our session today, and we're so grateful to you for accepting our invitation and sparing a few hours with us amidst your busy schedules. As a small announcement, I would like to kindly request all the attendees to make sure that you have your mics muted throughout unless you are going to address the audience in order to have minimum disturbances, as this is a session that is held online. If you have any doubts, feel free to put them in the chat box so we can answer them afterwards. So, Mr. Amita, the stage is yours.
Okay. Once again, thank you very much, Utpala, Madhusha, and all the organizers of this event, Business School 2021. And I mean, it's actually a wonderful feeling for me to be here, being your first guest speaker here today. I'm really impressed by how well you have organized this online event. Now, like it's not so far away. Like like early last year, 2020, I remember back at our workplace, we were facing the trouble of getting our clients for online meeting. Now this is before COVID situation. We were like trying to get our clients on board for online meetings so that we can cut back on like travel time and all that. And then even before that, like quite some time back at Apidum also, we've been trying to do online lectures, like maybe like 5-10 years ago, but people were reluctant. But last 1 year, how fast we have adapted to this technology itself shows the importance of the topic we are going to discuss today. And I'm really impressed the way that you have organized this. Like it's nicely done. So kudos to the entire organizing team. All right. So I think with that, I'm good to start with my presentation, right? Okay. Let me share my screen, and then we will. 1 second. Right. All right. Hope everyone can see my screen now and audible enough, loud enough. Right. Today I'm going to talk about building a career in digital marketing. I know that like the first belt of your program, or the first track of your uh, this year program with the title Boost Your Career. And the first topic for Boost Your Career track is digital marketing. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to guide you on like certain like first steps that you may need to do to start a strong career in digital marketing. Now, usually I go for like lengthy presentation. Some of my lectures are like 1.5 hours to 2 hours long, but today I'm not going to do that. I've prepared a very short presentation deck so that I won't use more than 40 minutes in my presentation. And I'd be rather interested in actually engaging with you. So any questions, you can shoot it on the chat. We can take those questions a little later. So I'll start with my story because we are talking about building a career in digital marketing. So I believe like it would benefit you if you hear the story of mine, like how I built this career. So I won't take much of time talking about me. You already know who I am. Utpala did the introduction. Like how I started my career in digital marketing, I don't think it's accidental. Or I never say it's accidental, because I feel like I was actually born for it. I remember like during our university days, I'm actually a marketing management graduate from the University of Sri Jayawardenepura. Our university days was, I entered the university in 1999 and I passed out in 2003. Now you see, this is like not the internet era in Sri Lanka, right? In Sri Lanka, the internet boom started post 2005 actually. Now this time, in almost entire Sri Lanka, we had only about like 50,000 internet connection across the country, and most of them were like dial-up connections. And at our university, at University of Sri Jayawardenepura, in our faculty, management faculty, we had like 2 computers with internet connection, just 2 computers with internet connections. And I remember like for us to get a 1 hour of internet surfing, we had to write and book our time slot, and then we can go back and browse. And that also like almost like dial up in internet back in the day, like very slow. Like once you type in a URL and it takes about like 5-10 minutes to load the entire web page. But even with that, I remember like we created like GeoCities pages through that and did so much of things, and we learned this particular tool. And I was quite fascinated with this new communication technology, internet technology. And I remember like in almost all my like early assignments back in the day, I studied marketing for my degree. In almost all my uh, assignments for any subject, I always took a topic which is somewhat related to technology, digital technology, so to speak. Like back in the day, in some of the presentations or some of the assignments, I remember like today we are talking about Uber and Uber Eats and Pick Me, right? In one of the assignments we did for product management, conducted by one of our most beloved lecturers, Mr. Maxwell Ranasinghe, I remember like in our group, we presented a mobile order system for a restaurant or a food delivery chain. This was like 2002. We discussed those topics. And so, as I said, like I felt almost like I was born for it. Like I was quite fascinated with this internet technologies. And then like after I finished my degree, or rather during the fourth year, I joined David Pierce Motor Company as a management trainee, or rather a trainee intern. And then I worked there for like 2 years. Like by that time, I had a proper career ahead of me in that particular company, and working there for 2 years. And it's one of the most established, well-to-do, financially strong companies even today in Sri Lanka, David Pierce Motor Company. And but like all of a sudden, one of my friends who happened to be my business partner for Epidem later on, and one of my batchmates, he was working for this company called RoomsNet back in the day. And he called me, Amita, there is a vacancy at our company for a, they called it as a destination specialist. Why don't you apply? And it's an e-commerce company. Now, back in the day, the word e-commerce wasn't even heard by like our parents, most of the people. And I decided to leave my job at David Pierce Motor Company, and then I joined this new venture, new startup called RoomsNet in 2004. Now, like ever since then, I consider that company as my second university, where I learned like most of the things I know about digital marketing, or e-marketing as we used to call it back in the day. And we learned search engine marketing, search engine optimization, social media marketing. So a lot of these topics were not even heard by the marketing practitioners in Sri Lanka back in the day, mind you. We didn't have anybody to ask questions. So we did our own research through internet. Those days we had something called Yahoo Answers and Google Answers, no longer available. Facebook killed all those platforms. And we created accounts on Yahoo Answers and Google Answers, and then we asked questions. It's almost similar to Quora today, right? Yahoo Answers and Google Answers. And when we have a question about a job we do, we can go and post a question there, and other experts around the world can help us. So that's how we learned digital marketing or e-marketing back in the day. So then in 2010, I had the opportunity of joining Ogilvy as the first employee to set up the digital agency new at Ogilvy under Ogilvy banner. And I joined as the first employee, head of digital for Ogilvy. And I left the company just last year, last December. When I left the company, I was already in the position of chief operating officer. And from me being the first employee, when I left the company, we had about 65 digital marketing professionals working for that agency. And that agency produced some of the best digital marketing talent in Sri Lanka. And actually there are some of them are working outside of Sri Lanka as well. And I co-founded Apidem, the Asia Pacific Institute of Digital Marketing, with my partner Suranga, who was running this as e-business academy since 2009. And I joined as a co-founder in 2005 to relaunch the entire institute. And in 2017, we rebranded the e-business academy as the Asia Pacific Institute of Digital Marketing. All right, so that's my story in digital marketing. So I'm not going to take much of time. So I'm going to take a quick poll now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing my screen, this PowerPoint screen, and let me copy paste this URL. Wait a second. We have to copy this. Okay. Get in there. Got it. Okay, I'm going to post this URL into the chat box. And I know you all are Facebook live streaming this, so one of the hosts can take this URL and post it in the Facebook live video as well, if anybody wants to respond to this poll. And open this poll, and you can start voting on this. And I'm going to start sharing the screen for, yeah, 1 second. Yeah, I hope you can open the link, start voting. So let me share the screen. So I know that this university, not just one faculty, this is a university-wide arrangement led KLN. And I saw somewhere that you all are having some sort of partnerships with the University of Moratuwa as well. So I just wanted to get an idea about like the audience today. So just vote on this link. Oh, wait a second. I think I shared the wrong link. Wait a second. I shared the wrong link. Let me share the right link now. I'm sorry about that. I shared the second link because I'm going to share two polls today. This is the correct poll. Okay. Take the second one and start voting, and I'll be sharing the outcomes. What's your faculty? That's what I'm asking. Okay, we have, yeah, keep voting. I only got 2 votes yet. Right. Okay, we have quite a lot from physical science. We have a few from arts faculties, others 5. I'm sorry, I just quickly created this. I couldn't get all the departments and faculties in universities. Management, we have like 3 people or 7%. And we have some people who are doing software engineering, bioscience, ICT. Right. It looks to me like a vast majority are from the physical science area. And yet I'm really interested to see that you are keen on attending a session on digital marketing. Okay, we have 10% from management faculty. All right. Okay. So I now have a some sort of an idea about like what the audience today is like. So most of you are from the physical science faculty, and some from arts, some there's a considerable percentage from management faculty as well. So why I asked that question is I wanted to know about your future potential careers, like when you are doing a science degree, a physical science degree or an arts degree or whatever, like is digital marketing relevant for you? Someone might say it's not, but I'm telling you, it's still relevant for you, because I know that your second session is on entrepreneurship. You may one day, someday, some of you may start your own startup venture in whatever the expertise areas you have. Like when you start that your own venture one day as an entrepreneur, maybe, or maybe you'll end up getting into a managerial position, even though you are holding a physical science degree. You might end up in a managerial position somewhere. So like going into the future, having at least a certain level of knowledge about digital marketing is going to be quite important. So you are going to get some value out of this. Now, I wanted to start this session by showing you this very popular internet meme. I'm sure like most of you would have seen this meme on your Facebook feed. Like this is what has happened in just 10 years. In 2009, this is how we used to cover news. In just 10 years, both the cameraman and the pilot lost their jobs. The reason? Technology outdated them, or technology got upgraded. So as a result, both the pilot of the helicopter and the cameraman of this crew lost their job. Now, someone might argue, of course, they have other jobs to do, not just covering news, of course, yes, but try to take the key message here. The key message is like knowledge in this era of like digital revolution, it can become obsolete like in just 10 years. Now, like I'm sure like this is the case even for you all. I think you all are like in like early 20s. You can remember your like teenage days. Like your parents would have probably wanted you to become a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer. Like, I mean, uh, if none of these three, then at least, okay, I'm using the word at least an accountant. That's how our parents are actually guiding their children for their future career: doctor, engineer, lawyer, accountant. But if you look at the reality of the world today, I mean, beyond these like top jobs, there are plenty of other opportunities where people can actually earn sometimes more than these people, and maybe live a better like work-life balance than some of these professions. This doesn't mean that these professions are not needed. No way I'm actually meaning that. Like, I mean, we need more doctors in Sri Lanka. There's no doubt about that. We need more engineers, and of course, we have enough lawyers. I don't know. Like we need more lawyers, right? So it's not that these jobs are obsolete. What I'm saying is, in pursuit of getting into these jobs, what happens for most young people in Sri Lanka are they try to hit these like ultimate goals of becoming a doctor or a civil engineer or a lawyer, but they fall short in their advanced level. And after that, because of the pressure put on them by the society and by their parents, they tend to think of themselves as failures. Now, as university students, you may not realize this as university graduates, because you are on the other side of this whole thing. But think about the people who work their really hard to become a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer, but they fail few points short in their set score, and then that creates a whole lot of pressure on them. Now, why this pressure? The reason is, from their small age, the society and their parents, their relatives, everybody is putting that pressure on them. These are the jobs that you can live happily. If you don't if you don't get to any of these jobs, you are not going to live a happy life. That's what the society tells us, but that's what's not the reality. Now, this is according to the World Economic Forums. These are the top 10 skills that every undergraduate or every young student needs to develop if you want to have a successful career in 2025. Look at some of these things: uh, analytical thinking and innovation, active learning and learning strategies, complex problem solving, critical thinking and analysis, creativity, originality and initiative, leadership and social influence, technology use, monitoring and control, technology design and programming, resilience, stress tolerance and flexibility, reasoning, problem solving and ideation. You see, a lot of these works or skills, you can categorize this into four major areas. One is problem solving. Now we talk about AI and machine learning, and I know like there are few sessions scheduled in your thing, right? Like there's only so much technology can do for problem solving. AI can do. There is a limitation that AI can go at least for the next 25 years. There is a limit that what AI can solve when it comes to problem solving. Beyond that, we still need human skills. A lot of the routine jobs are going to be done by robots or AI. Even in the medical field, they are now talking about robots. I mean, automating like certain like surgical procedures. So in that case, like in time to come, more human skills. These are human skills, problem solving skills, and self management skill. How well you are going to manage your own well being, manage your own stress. Those are the skills that you need to develop. And working with people, interpersonal skills, these are the skills that you need to develop. And technology use and development. You see, the whole landscape of career prospects for people are changing. Now this is what the job market of tomorrow will require from people. They won't bother how good you are in your arithmetic and geometry or whatever your mathematical calculations, because that can be easily automated. They won't be bothered about your memorizing skills and all that, because that can also be automated. So everything which can be automated will be automated. Now, problem solving cannot automate. It needs human skills. Of course, you can use technology for a certain extent, but beyond that, you need human skills. Self-management, if you don't have that skill, AI can't solve that problem for you. You have to have your self-discipline, self-management. That's a skill which is needed for the next decade. And working with people. Now that we are so used to this technology, chatting and all that, now it's really uncomfortable for the next generation, not you all. Like, I mean, the generation born after, let's say, 2005 and all. Like, for them, sometimes it's really difficult for them to actually look in the eye of a person and speak to them, because they are so used to this screen based communication. So working with people, understanding people, these are the skills that you are going to master in next 5 years. Now you might be wondering why I'm actually talking about these skills. So these are not related to digital marketing. I'll tell you that these are related to digital marketing. Even within the field of digital marketing, if you can become a problem solver, you will be God. Basically, there will be companies who will come after you to come and help them to solve their certain like business problems in the area of digital marketing. It's not only about knowing about like how to set up a Facebook ad or how to set up a Google ad, which most people believe as digital marketing. Beyond that, you need to build the skill of strategizing for digital marketing through problem solving, understanding the situation, the analytical skills. And then working in digital, it's going to be really stressful. You should have your self-management skills, digital well-being skills. And then you have to work with people. Even in digital marketing, you have to coordinate with people, as with people. For that, you need to have some level of people skills. You need to have this. And of course, using technology and developing technology, this is required in a larger scale if you want to become a digital marketer. Okay, now those are the top skills and these are the top jobs. So again, according to the World Economic Forum, they took Glassdoor.com as the source for this. These are the ranking of top 25 jobs across the world, ranking determined by work-life balance rating. How much can you earn annually versus how much free time you have to enjoy life. That's the criteria used to rank these jobs. Look at number 1, data scientist. Now, the ones who are coming from the physical science and in software engineering side, so you can end up become a data scientist, but for you to become a data scientist, you need to have certain level of marketing and business analytics knowledge as well, because the job role data scientist, the highest paying, or rather highest paid data scientists are not working for the finance sector or any other like government sector or health sector. The best paid data scientists are working for the marketing sector, that is using data science to understand consumer behavior and how to influence consumer behavior. Those are the problems data scientists are solving for marketers. So data scientists, you might think it as a technical job, but no, it's not only a technical job, it's going to be a marketing job as well. And marketing departments are going to need data science. And then SEO manager, search engine optimization, a hot topic, and it will not die for next 10 years, I can guarantee you. So if you can become a good SEO, if you can understand search engine algorithms and how to optimize websites to appear on natural results of search engines, so that's going to be a wonderful thing. And then talent acquisition. So if I go through the list, you'll see, for example, digital marketing manager, number 8. and like, for example, marketing analyst and data analyst, content manager, and these all are job roles related to digital marketing. You need to have a level of digital marketing skills understanding for you to perform in some of these top paying jobs in the future. Okay, now with this, actually, I'm going to go for the second poll. I already accidentally shared that link. I invite you to use that first link I shared. Let me share that link once again so that you'll be able to quickly go through it and start voting on it. Let me post it on the chat again. For the benefit of people who are watching through Facebook Live, please, one of the admins can post this to there as well. Right. Let me now open. Right. Start voting. So I'm going to share the screen. So the question I'm asking here is, you can select multiple options. Select if you did any of these things within last 30 days. Did a Google search and clicked on a search result, watched a 5-second skippable ad on YouTube or Facebook, watched a YouTube video with a brand message, saw a post on Facebook and messaged a business, clicked on a banner ad, wrote a review on Facebook. So these are some of the things that I would want you to see. So you see, like 27% of our audience, they have done a Google search and clicked on a search result during last 30 days. And 23% of you watched a skippable ad on YouTube. And 23% again watched a video with a brand message. It may be like Block Candino or Vasti Productions or whatever. And then saw a post on Facebook and messaged a business, 12% of the audience. And clicked on a banner at 10% of the audience and wrote a review on Facebook. Now, if you engaged in any of these activities during last 30 days, that means you have been in the receiving end of what digital marketers are doing. Now, if you're wondering what do digital marketers do, now from this you see you have been the customers of those digital marketers. For example, when you say you did a search, Google search, and clicked on the search results, the result you clicked on Google would have been some search engine optimizers years of labor to get that link ranked on the top page of Google results. Digital marketing. So you became a customer for that person who did the search engine optimization for that link. Or if you clicked on a paid link on Google, then you became the customer of a search engine advertiser. And if you watched a video with a brand message by Vasti Production or Block Candino or any of these Ratta or whoever, again, you were a customer of someone who really worked hard on that branded message to collaborate with that YouTube creator. So that is what digital marketers are doing. If you watched a 5-second skippable ad on YouTube, again, you were a customer of a digital marketer who worked day and night to figure out how can I squeeze in my message into this 5-second bumper and communicate that message and get the attention of the people. This is what digital marketers are doing. Like we think all the time, how can I get the attention in that just 5-second window? This is what digital marketers are doing. And then saw a post on Facebook and message the business. Again, social media marketers, they scratch their head every day thinking about how am I going to get people to engage with my content, and as a result of that engagement, how can I get them to message my business? So they are working hard, and you have responded here and clicked on a banner. Straightforward. Wrote a review on Facebook. I hope those are for positive reviews. If you wrote a negative review on Facebook, again, if you review a business negatively on their Facebook page, you might not know there's a whole lot of ripple effect happening behind the scene now. Like, I mean, the big bosses of that company is asking the social media manager, why is it this negative review happening? And then so many people are summoned to the CEO's room. What has happened? What has gone wrong? Why you couldn't service this person properly? And then what can we do to fix this? Whole lot of discussions might be going if you wrote a negative review on a Facebook page of a brand. And what is going behind the scene, we call it as digital marketing. So I hope now with this exercise, this small interactive activity I did with you, you get an idea about like how your life connects with digital marketers. Now let me go back to the presentation slide deck again. Right. So we got an idea about what is digital marketing. Let me quickly do a formal definition of it. Digital marketing is using digital technologies to reach consumers. If you're working your way hard to get into the top ranks of Google search engines and to be visible on YouTube, that's what we are doing. Now, today, both customers and businesses are moving online. Like 50% of Sri Lankan audiences are online. And therefore, the marketing budgets are also now moving online. Now, a lot of the budgets which was spent on TV advertising are now being spent online. Like for example, in 2020, by end of this year, the total worldwide digital marketing ad spend is supposed to be estimated to be 120 billion US dollars. So that is such a big market. And when advertisers are coming online to spend their money on digital advertising and digital marketing channels, that creates a lot of opportunities for people like you all to become professionals in the field of digital marketing. There's what we call as the digital skills gap. Now, this is where your opportunity is. When there is a gap, there is an opportunity also. 40% of the organizations are not able to find sufficient talent to handle their digital marketing workloads. A lot of the companies, they have jobs to be done in the field of digital marketing, for example, search engine optimizing, social media management, but 40% of these companies, they don't have the right skills within their organizations. That means you have an opportunity if you become a digital marketer. So there are plenty of companies who would want to hire you. And 70% of large companies say their digital marketers are strong in some areas but mediocre in others. This happens because there is a huge demand for digital marketing jobs, but people are not competent enough. They get the job anyway because the company needs to fill the job, but they are only strong in one area of digital marketing, but they are weak in other areas. That means if you can become strong in those other areas, you have an opportunity to fill that gap. And half of digital marketers feel highly proficient in their, only half of digital marketers feel highly proficient in their career, because like even I meet a lot of people like them. So they work in digital marketing. Their job title goes as assistant manager digital, and digital communications specialist, all that. But deep inside them, they are not confident about what they are doing. The reason is they are not skilled enough. There is a skills gap in the market, and 23% of employees have the digital capabilities required of them to achieve their business outcomes. So I have a job in digital marketing, but only 23% of us can actually help my company to achieve the expected outcomes using my digital skills. This is what we call as the digital skills gap. Now, mind you, over the last 1 year, this gap further widened. The reason is demand, the increase in demand for digital talent even further increased because of the COVID situation. Now companies are like highly digital savvy. They want digital people in their organizations. And as a result, because the job market is having a shortage, the people who acquire the skills faster, they have better opportunities out there in the market. Like, I mean, every day I'm getting so much of messages. Even this morning, I got a couple of calls asking me to help them find people to fill their digital marketing vacancies. So this is the opportunity out there for a digital marketing role. Now, these are the skills needed if you want to create a career in digital marketing. Content marketing is in demand. Like can you write content, can you create content, video based content and graphic content? So if you have the skill that is needed in digital marketing, and search engine marketing and pay per click advertising is a top required skill today. And web analytics, can you like measure data on website traffic and then through that make decisions analysis? Search engine optimization, another top required skill. Email marketing and marketing automation. Now if you are from like tech side, so these are some of the skills that you can develop. Affiliate marketing, pay per click advertising, and digital advertising, and design, of course. Design for digital world. It's not designing for print world or the traditional designs. Designing for the web, or I'm not talking about web design also, right? This is actually designing ad materials for the web, for social media and all. That's a total different ball game from designing for newspapers and magazines. So if you have that skill, you have a lot of like opportunities in digital marketing. And so these are some of the most like popular job titles. You can become a content strategist, you can become an email marketing specialist, SEO and SEM specialist, social media marketer, user experience designer, performance marketing specialist. In general, we have like titles like digital marketing specialist, digital marketing executive. So these are some of the job titles that you can get. Now, if you ask me about the pay scales, I can tell you that like a digital marketing specialist in Sri Lanka, I'm talking about the Sri Lankan context. This is not a measured number. This is by my experience. A digital marketing professional with 3 years experience in Sri Lanka can easily earn a salary equivalent to a traditional marketer who is having 5 to 6 years or maybe even more than that experience. So that means your career growth cycle is faster than a traditional marketer if you become a digital marketer. Now, I have to tell another thing before I come to this this particular second slide. This is very important for our audience today. I saw that most of my audience today are from physical science faculty and art faculties. You are not from the management and business management faculties, right? So this is applicable for those of you. Now, yes, digital marketing is a tech driven concept, right? I mean, you have to be a technology savvy person to become a digital marketer. But yet the core, the heart of digital marketing is still in social sciences. It's not in technology, because technology is easy to teach, easy to understand. Social sciences, it's not that easy to teach, it's not that easy to understand. Like, say for example, why people do what they do. I mean, consumer behavior, it's not an easy subject to learn, right? Like why I mean like how to influence a person to buy my brand versus another brand. It's totally about psychology, consumer psychology. It's not easy to learn, it's not easy to teach. It's a skill that you have to master on your own, right? So while you become a techno savvy person, you know your way around with coding, WordPress sites, and working with Facebook pages, working with YouTube, you're technologically well savvy. But if you don't understand the concepts, the theories behind how the consumer mind is working, consumer psychology is working, you're going to struggle as a digital marketer, because that's one of the key skills that you need to nurture. So therefore, so my advice to those of you who are coming from science side or physical science side, technology side, if you plan to build a career in digital marketing, I urge you to study social sciences as well, or study business studies or marketing course. Do a marketing course somewhere. You can do CIM or SLIM postgraduate or something to complement your science degree. do some marketing related qualification as well, and try to learn this consumer psychology as a subject or consumer behavior as a subject, because without that you will not be able to produce results, because it's all about like understanding the consumer, understanding customers, and then influencing their behavior using technology. That's what digital marketers are doing. So that's an additional point that I wanted to bring here, because usually I actually talk to management students, marketing students, people who are coming from that end. So then, I mean, it's actually, so I'm pushing them to learn technology. So I'm asking them to actually learn about all this technical stuff, like maybe like learning quick like PHP course or something, and learn like how to work on a MySQL database and how to handle a server, web server. So those very little like technical skills I actually recommend marketing students and business management students to learn. As you all are, majority of you are from physical sciences, I urge you to focus on social sciences as well, because it's going to complement if you want to become a digital marketing. Because end of the day, it's not about the technology, it's about how we are using technology to influence the consumer. That's what digital marketers are doing. If you can't influence the consumer, so you are not an effective digital marketer. So these are the areas, various industries where you can find job opportunities. Like travel and tourism is a huge area where there are like a lot of like uh, opportunities for digital marketers. Of course, that industry is temporarily in back foot, but that will be only temporarily. Very soon, travel and tourism industry will start booming, and they will need more and more digital marketers. And of course, education sector. So they, I mean, when I say education sector, I'm not talking about the government, state universities, but there are like plenty of like private education institutes who would want digital marketers to handle their social media, handle their performance marketing, enrollments, and all that. And then e-commerce is really booming. Like performance marketing, conversion optimization. How can you get people to buy on your e-commerce website? That's a science, as well as that's actually an art. So you need to master about the art and science of performance marketing. Sometimes you can measure data and like predict or create models and all do that. But at the same time, you need to have that creativity to do a growth hack to get your e-commerce site working really well. And fitness and nutrition and fast moving consumable goods, all these sectors, telco sector, they all these like industries, they need digital marketers, because this is going to be the future. And in Sri Lankan context, these are some of the hottest organizations who are looking for digital talent. Now, I worked for Ogilvy for 10 years, so I know like how hard it is to find good talent to work in digital marketing at our industry. Of course, we've hired quite a lot of people from your University of Kelaniya, and of course from Sri Jayawardenepura. We are largely hiring from the management faculty, the people who are completing their marketing management degree. But of course, like even for the science faculty, if you come with the right attitude and the right skills, I think Ogilvy and most of these other organizations would be welcoming you. And I know like in like almost all the brands that you see on this screen, they would really welcome some fresh blood, fresh talent. And I'm seeing like they are advertising for digital marketing talent like every other month at least. So right. So I'm going to end my presentation with a quick suggestion to you on like how to build an ideal career in digital marketing. Now, mind you, you can apply this to any career, but I'm going to discuss this in particular to digital marketing. The first one is after your graduation, the first 2 years will be your exploration years. Now, during the explore stage, the first 2 years after your graduation, look for a workplace where you can learn and grow faster. That's the only thing you have to look for, right? Don't bother about the salary, right? Don't hesitate to quit and look for another place if the job doesn't help you to learn. Like, don't think that just because you got a degree from the university that you can work like with like six-figure salary starting next day, right? Of course, you can do that if you move to another country, but in Sri Lanka, don't expect that. If you're staying in Sri Lanka, like you'll probably start with a five-figure salary, right? Now, like like even if the salary scale is lower during this explore stage, the first 2 years, look for a good place for you to learn and grow. Look for a good boss who would be able to mentor you. And after that, now the first 2 years, if you don't find the right place, don't hesitate to quit within 5 months, 6 months. Leave that job, join another place until you find the right place where you have the opportunity to learn and grow. And that in that right place, stay for at least 3 years. During these 3 years, absorb as much as possible. Once you discover a good place to work with learning opportunities, stay there for at least for 3 years and absorb knowledge and gain experience. And you can aim for average pay growth of 20% annually. Digital marketing field compared to other fields, usually the annual growth rate is high. So you can aim for this. Like if you don't get it, don't worry, because from your fifth year onwards, you can really consolidate on your career, because a digital marketer with 5 years experience, like in Sri Lanka, I know even in globally, it will be the same case. So it's like now we are sitting on top of a gold mine. With 5 years experience in digital marketing, you can demand whatever the amount that you want for your salary, because there are plenty of companies who would want to pay uh, the right amount to acquire a good experienced qualified person to lead their digital marketing. So there will be many like senior positions for you with like 5 year experiments. With 5 years solid experience in digital marketing, now you can consolidate on your career, decide whether you want to stay at the same place or you want to move to another place. And every 3 years, do a review your career prospects in your current role, identify your knowledge gaps to see if your qualifications are still relevant. If not, keep upskilling yourself, because digital marketing is a field where you cannot survive for a long if you don't get yourself update. You need to keep updating your knowledge like all the time, keep upskilling yourself all the time. If you don't do that, after some time your knowledge will become outdated. So therefore every 3 years you need to do this like self assessment to see whether you are on the right track. Well, that's the ideal career cycle that I suggest for every new young undergraduate, fresh graduate. So with that, actually, I've come to my last slide of this presentation. I think I'm on time, 6:55. I was supposed to stop at like 6:50. I'm like about like 5 minutes late for the Q&A. So just last message from my organization, Apidem. Like if any of you are interested in learning digital marketing, we have this certificate in digital marketing program, which is designed for undergraduates. And we are taking an intake end of this month. So you can make an inquiry by visiting www.apidem.lk. So that's a quick message from my institute. And with that, I'm winding up my session today, and I'm happy to take any questions. So I'm hand it over to the admins.
Yes. So, okay, as we have reached the end of our discussion, we can move to the next part of the session. And now it's time for our audience to bring out their questions and doubts regarding what we have discussed today. So, all of you are welcome to unmute yourself and voice the question yourself. Or if not, you can feel comfortable with dropping your question in the chat box or any of our OZ members. So, it's time for the questions. Do we have any questions, guys? We have one question, sir. What is affiliate marketing?
Yes. There's a question I can say. What is affiliate marketing? This is actually a good question because, like, I've seen like in Sri Lanka, like there are like a lot of like scams are happening under the banner of affiliate marketing and drop shipping. Like these words are being used by many parties to propagate scams. You know what a scam is? Basically, I mean, they trick you and get your money. That's all what they're doing now. Like the concept of affiliate marketing and drop shipping, I'll actually explain it. In fact, actually, I had completed the entire session on this topic, which I did for the students of University of Sri Jagadhanpur some time back. The idea of affiliate marketing is, say, for example, you have a brand, right? You have a brand, and then you appoint me as an affiliate marketer. Then what I will do, you set the price, you own the brand, you decide like your product and everything, you decide. And all I have in my control is the marketing part. So I have, let's say, a website, or I have an email list, or I have a huge following on my social media. So then what I can do is I can promote your product, your brand at your price to my followers, my email list, or my website visitors. And every time one of my followers or one of my website visitors buy from those affiliate links, so to speak, I get a commission from your price value, right? Now, basically, let's say, for example, Amazon.com, on Amazon.com, I can actually get an Amazon affiliate partnership. So then what I do is, whatever the products listed on Amazon.com, I can promote it on my website, and everybody would know that it's an Amazon product. Or so the link will go back to Amazon website. And when you buy on Amazon.com, I get a commission. So this is what affiliate marketing is all about. And it's a legitimate business, by the way, even though people are using it as scams to trick people sometimes. It's a legitimate business model, affiliate marketing. Now the confusion is, a lot of the people are confusing this with drop shipping. And in Sri Lanka, what happens is, what most these like small entities who are promoting drop shipping, what they are actually doing is affiliate marketing. Like they are giving affiliate links, and they ask you to like promote their links, and you'll get a commission out of it. In the real drop shipping, I'm talking about real drop shipping. Okay, so if some scammer told you a different story, I'm sorry about that. But in real drop shipping, what happens is, let me use the whiteboard option here. I think, do we have the whiteboard option in the screen share? No, right? So let me try. No. Okay. I can see the whiteboard, but I can't write on it. Would you be able to make like a collaborative whiteboard from session settings? No, still I can't write. Okay, by the way, no worries. Thank you. You can minimize the whiteboard. I will try to explain it this way. The idea of drop shipping is basically, now you are a manufacturer. Let's say you manufacture this light pen, right? And I want to, I have my marketing channels and everything, and I want to build a brand in like selling light pens. So what I do is I approach you and I tell you, hey guys, I want you to manufacture and manufacture, let's say, 1,000 units of this product, and you have to do it in my brand, and I will do the marketing and you will do the shipping, right? So this is what the real drop shipping happens. So what happens is, this product is being manufactured in China under a brand name that I gave them, and I do the marketing from Sri Lanka to rest of the world. And when someone purchases it from China to whatever that country, they will ship it, right? So I don't even get a chance to see the product, right? So this is the real drop shipping. And sometimes people, I mean, so private label drop shipping is the right way of doing it, but sometimes people like drop ship other people's brands as well. Say for example, I mean I can drop ship from a manufacturer based out of Hong Kong using their brand. I mean, that's perfectly fine. But like if I want to put on my own brand, that option is also there, but there will be minimum order quantities and all that is there, like a minimum contract quantities and all that is there. And that's the right way of doing drop shipping. The difference again is when you're drop shipping, you can set your brand number one, and you can set your price, therefore you can mark up. Like if the manufacturer charges $10, you can sell it at $25. That's totally up to you to set the price. But when you're doing affiliate marketing, you can't set the price. You have to sell it at the price set by the brand owner, and you will be earning not a markup, you will earning a commission. So that's the difference. I saw some more questions in the chat box. Let me quickly go through those. Yeah, can you okay, this question, how do you start doing digital marketing? I think like that question, it's a bit of a tricky question, because I think that's what I explained up to now. But anyway, like I mean, if you mean like how do you start a career in digital, or how would you get a digital marketing job, then I'd be able to answer that question. Like how do we start doing digital marketing? That's a completely different subject that you need to learn. So today, this session, in this 1 hour, I was actually explaining you what is digital marketing and what is a digital marketing career. But like if you want to like do digital marketing, we may need to do a completely different session, maybe another session later on, maybe 1 hour, 1.5 hours on more into like what exactly need to be done in the field of digital marketing. Okay, I'll go to the next question. Can you explain PPC ads and is it successful nowadays? PPC ads means pay-per-click ads. When you go to Google and search for the keywords, you will see certain results which we with the tag as ad. We call this as sponsored listing. And for your second question, is this working nowadays? Yes, it works big time, because like pay-per-click search engine ads is one of the most efficient and fastest way for you to acquire qualified traffic to your e-commerce site. Now I'm working with a couple of e-commerce sites these days, and we do nothing but pay-per-click search engine ads to attract the traffic, and we keep optimizing the conversion. And then what you do is you maintain a positive return on investment from your pay-per-click ads, and then you reinvest that in other marketing channels. That's how you, I mean, this is one of the quickest way you can earn a positive return on investment if you are doing digital marketing, pay-per-click ads. And okay, so there's a question whether we can get an internship job. Yes, the certificate in digital marketing program which I mentioned, it comes with internship opportunities, but it's not guaranteed. So for the people who are finishing the course, what we are doing is we are like sending their CVs to multiple number of agencies in Sri Lanka who are hiring interns, and they will interview you. And if you pass the interview only, you will be able to get the internship. So we have about like already we have about like 5 industry partners who will be taking 2 each. That is, there are like about 10 internship opportunities for every batch at the moment. Like out of like 30 to 40 people, only about 10 people will get the internship opportunities. Is there any possibility to start the career as a digital marketing intern for science degree holders? Yes, but you need to have the skills. I mean, for your science degree alone, people won't give you an internship in digital marketing. Like even for a marketing degree, just for the degree, nobody will give you a internship in your digital marketing. So you need to demonstrate your knowledge in digital marketing, because if your degree program doesn't cover the subjects, you have to self learn it, and then in the interview you have to show some skills. I mean, without at least a small spark, they won't even hire you as an intern. I'm not talking about like years of experience. They won't ask for 1 year experience in digital marketing or as such for a internship. But like, say for example, in the interview, when they ask questions about like managing Facebook pages, or like few questions about Google Ads and all that, I mean, if it sounds like Greek for you, then obviously there won't be a chance. So I tell this to every university undergraduate: your degree certificate is only an entry ticket. So with that entry ticket, you can walk into the boardroom for an interview. How you play in that interview, that's what will decide whether you will get that job or internship at all, right? So therefore, while focusing on getting a good result for your degree, at the same time try to actually skill yourself in so many different areas, not just the areas that you are studying. So what are the other skills that you need to master? So I think these type of programs will help you to get that going. Right. Okay. Let me go to the next question. Is there any difference between Facebook post boosting and Facebook advertising? Yes, there is, because Facebook post boosting is a very limited featured advertising feature which is enabled by Facebook. But if you go to what we call as the Facebook ad manager, where you can create managed ads, so you have plenty of other targeting options and control mechanism, comparing mechanisms, we call as like A/B testing, and a lot of other features which will help you to increase the efficiency of your Facebook advertising. How to get a job in a company like Google? Oh wow! Like I'll be honest, I don't have an answer, but like you have to work your way up. Like even at a company like let's say Google or even Facebook, there are like career ladders where you can go from the tech side or you can go from the business side, right? But like, as I have heard, at Google, even if you are going from the business side, you need a certain level of like technical knowledge. I mean, they prefer software engineers. So I mean, people from software side, even for business driven roles, I don't know. But this is not a question that I can convincingly answer you, but like maybe try Googling for it. You may get some help there. All right, I saw someone raise the hand. I think someone want to unmute and ask a question. I'm open for that.
Yes, if anyone is willing to voice their own questions, you're very welcome for it. Anybody who wishes to voice your own question?
And someone has asked for my, okay, I'll reply to that person in the chat itself.
We're still open for anybody who wishes to voice your own question, to address the audience, to talk a bit with us.
Okay, there's a question. How is the tendency of outsourcing their digital marketing works to third parties? Well, like when you say outsourcing, like collaboration is one key feature of digital marketing, because like now this area of digital marketing is so vast that it's really difficult for one individual or one organization to have all the skills which is required to do a proper digital marketing job. So there are like multiple skills, different skills needed. So in such a situation, collaboration and outsourcing, of course, can actually help. Now, for example, now Now, to do a proper digital marketing campaign for a brand, you need first creativity, idea, right? You need to have a good team who can generate a creative idea which suits the digital channels. And then you need producers, content producers, good video producers and content producers. And then you need proper media planners, right? And then like analytics guys, like to analyze all this. Likewise, there are like various different skills needed to do a proper digital marketing campaign. Now, if your organization doesn't have all these skills in-house, then collaborating with other organizations, other individuals, that's going to be the key, and which actually creates a whole lot of other opportunities for freelancers and you know all sort of small entities who can actually take up some of these parts of these jobs as outsourced jobs, and that drives the whole ecosystem in the digital economy. Like on Fiverr and Upwork, we see a lot of people who are actually getting some of these like small portions of a bigger job and earning a gig out of it. So outsourcing and collaboration, in fact, it's one of the best thing. Is it better to market through YouTube advertisement or YouTube content? I'd say both, because I mean it depends on your objectives. So that's so now there were few people from the management faculties, and like when we plan in any management process, the very first thing we ask, the very first question we ask in a planning activity is, what's the purpose, what's the objective, right? So whether YouTube advertising works better than YouTube content, that depends on your answer to the question, what's my purpose, what's my objective. So depending on your objective, you might think, okay, going with YouTube advertising works best than content. So without knowing that objective exactly, you will not be able to tell exactly which works best. So it all depends on what you want to get out of the entire exercise. How much should we spend for a successful advertisement campaign, especially in dropshipping when have a own e-commerce website? Again, a question which I can't answer, because these are very, uh, these are planning questions. So for you to find an answer for this, you need to know who is your target audience, what's the size of your target audience, and what's the average cost per thousand impression or cost per click in that particular niche. What are the most popular keywords or target audiences? So it's a whole lot of like work in planning for you to get answer to this question. These are not like like A B answers. You have a question, you have an answer. No, you will never be able to get an answer like that. Like what's the number? You have to work, you have to plan, and as an outcome of that plan, you will get to know what's the number.
Okay, have we got any other questions? Because we are already running out of time and we are past due scheduled time also.
Cool. If there are no more questions, I think, Utpala, we can wind up the session, and let me just thank everybody once again. And I have to congratulate you guys, the organizing team of LED KLN. You've done a wonderful job, a marvelous job organizing this, and like even your coordination with me for this. I'm really impressed. The way you coordinated, and how detailed oriented you were, because I've been collaborating with undergraduates in many multiple projects, and a lot of the gaps that I see in undergraduate works, I haven't seen it with you all. So it's actually a great achievement for you all, and I congratulate all of you for a better future, better success in all your future endeavors. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And I'm pretty sure that there are undergrads in this meeting who are totally new to the digital marketing field, but have sparked an interest in this field after today's discussion. And that this discussion affirmed the passion in whoever already had an trust in digital marketing. We are running out of time and we have been here for more than an hour, and we also have reached the end of today's discussion. So I would like to invite Mr. Madhusha Lakshan to deliver the thanking note.
Thank you, Ms. Uppala Hevagamge. Good evening, our keynote speaker, Mr. Amit Amarasinghe, the founder and the CEO of the Asia Pacific Institute of Digital Marketing, Sri Lanka, Executive Board of the LEDKLN, the organizing committee of today's event, and all the other participants. On behalf of the LEDKLN, I would like to pay our honest gratitude to our keynote speaker, Mr. Amit Amarasinghe, for accepting our invitation and having this valuable session as our first in Business School 2021. Thank you for sparing your valuable time and knowledge in spite of your busy schedules. I would further like to pay our special gratitude to our executive board of the club and the Business School Organizing Committee for organizing this valuable event. And Ms. Uppala Hevagamge, thank you for moderating the session amazingly. And this special thanks goes to all the participants for joining with us today, and we appreciate your keenness for learning and enhancing your skills with LEDKLN. Hope that you will be with us on upcoming sessions as well to learn new things and to become equipped with knowledge, skills, new experiences, and positive attitudes. Thank you very much. Good luck and stay safe.
Thank you, Madhusha. Dear participants, do not forget to join us with the second and third sessions, which will be held on 17th of March, where we will be discussing about entrepreneurship in the second session and about data science and artificial intelligence in the third. Stay tuned with Business School 2021. Stay tuned with LEDKLN. Have a very good night.